Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to drop a quick video tonight and talk about this sad case. This is the case of Lori Paige, age 13. The father have now been arrested for her murder. I will be going on TikTok in the morning and dropping a video on this case. So go there now, check it out. Um, Missing girl is found dead. Father is arrested 2 years after her disappearance, authorities said. Tallahassee, Florida, is taken in air. A missing girl was found dead last week, and her father is now under arrest. The Tallahassee Police Department said Lori Paige went missing in June of 2023 before her remains were found at the Merrily Plantation in Thomas County, Georgia on April the 5th. Authorities announced Friday that her 36-year-old father, Andrew Willie, faced a second-degree murder charge in connection with her death. Tallahassee Police Chief Lawrence Revelle said before the discovery of Paige's remains, the middle schooler was last seen in the Continental Court neighborhood in Tallahassee in 2023. Willie reported his daughter missing on June 3rd that year, claiming she left home with her backpack sometime overnight while he was at work. Detectives pursued leads and conducted interviews across several states for nearly a year. Eventually, investigators said they began to uncover and Constance's and Willie's original story. In February of 2024, detectives seized the phone from the father's home. Quote, a forensic analysis uncovers questionable internet searches about remote areas with bodies of water in Alabama and Georgia, among other things, police shared in a statement. New information eventually emerged about Willie's relationship with Paige, which police said caused detectives to shift the focus more heavily toward him. Around that same time, detectives started searching a remote bush-covered area of Thomas County, Georgia, known locally as a plantation. According to the police department, despite conducting multiple searches, no results were found until earlier this month. Police said detectives returned to the plantation for another search after a prescribed burn cleared heavy bush in the area. That's when Paige's remains were located. Here's the news video.
A bombshell announcement this afternoon, an arrest in the disappearance and murder of missing 12-year-old Lori Paige.
Trusted, local, WCTV Eyewitness News starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Julie Montanaro. Tallahassee's police chief announcing within the last hour that they found Lori Paige's remains last week and arrested her father for her murder. The announcement comes nearly 2 years after Lori Paige was last seen. For months, one of her middle school teachers continuing to sound the alarm bells that something wasn't right, and that has turned out to be terribly true. Our Matt Hoffman is live at TPD headquarters right now with more on this afternoon's shocking announcement. Matt.
Yeah, Julie. So just to recap, the Tallahassee police chief announcing the arrest of Lori Paige's father, Andrew Wiley, just within the last hour or so. Wiley now faces a second-degree murder charge, which will move through court. Paige's case made changes here inside TPD headquarters, where officers since dropped the use of the term runaway in missing person flyers. Wiley's arrest came together quickly after police searched a rural area of Thomas County, Georgia, called the Plantation again. Within just 4 days of that secondary search, Paige's remains were confirmed by the crime lab.
I told you 2 years ago we would never give up. I told you 2 years ago we would find Lori and we would bring her home. I told you 2 years ago that we would find who did this and we would arrest them and bring them to justice. And today I stand before you to tell you we have done just that.
Wiley's arrest was announced at a hastily scheduled press conference this afternoon. We will keep you updated, of course, as the case works its way through the court process. For now, outside TPD headquarters, I'm Matt Hoffman, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Thank you so much, Matt. And we are still working to learn more about when and where her father was arrested. We'll share those details when we can. We do want to give you a brief timeline of the events from the moment Lori went missing to today's major announcement about her remains.
So, clearly, you have a father that took advantage of the child. And I believe from day one, the biological mother knew what type of man he was. And when you put a man who you know is no good before the safety of your children, then it sparks a red flag. But we got to do better when it comes to our children. He should have never been able to have unsupervised visits with his child. Um, and we as people, I don't care if you're in a relationship with a man and a woman and a woman, man and a man. If you're dating someone and you do not know their history, and then you are just as responsible as the perpetrator because you fail to protect. You knew what type of man this evil person was. You knew what this person, this father, this alleged father, was about. I could bag you money. He probably was abusive. And when a person is abusive to children, it escalates from abuse to murder. So if you're in that situation, get your children out of that situation before it's too late. This father ain't care about his own child. Killed her and just and put her lifeless body in a plantation. That's inhumane. How do you live with yourself knowing the torture that you cause your own child, your own flesh and blood, and people like that needs to be off the streets and to only walk away with second degree murder. To me, they should have been upgraded to first degree. He had no disregard for human life. I bet you had a terrible background. His parents' first time abusing his children. Not the first time he threatened to kill his children. And when people make threats to self-harm their children, then actions got to take place. Now, one should have been caught immediately. I feel like it was red flags that were missed, and glad that his father was brought to justice. It took 2 years for this case to go to justice. And if you see something, say something. Because you are saving the life of innocent children. Don't be silent. And a quote from Dr. Phil is, in the silence on domestic violence, whether it's against a partner, a child, anybody, in the silence, call someone, get help, call 911. It's no excuse for children to be abused. It's no excuse for it. To Paige Lori, RIP, and I hope that the person who called your father is sent away to prison for a very, very long time. You're watching Save Our Children TV, and I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.